Developed around the visual nature of cardistry, the Virtuoso deck features an innovative design that the Verts call adaptive aesthetics, a unique back design that gives you the appearance of swirling shapes, changing colors, and connecting patterns to visually enhance every card flourish you perform. Each deck is also crafted with the finest casino-grade materials and features handling characteristics optimized according to the demands of top flourishers in the world. Completely custom designed from face to back, the result is a deck of cards with unprecedented form and function, the only deck designed for the art of card flourishing. Hello everyone, and welcome to my review on the 2015 Spring-Summer edition of the Virtuoso deck. This deck is absolutely fantastic. It is the only deck designed for the art of card flourishing, and it really shows, and they definitely put a lot of thought into this deck. The deck was made by the Verts. They are a group of card flourishers from Singapore, and they're awesome. I'll put a link in the description for their site, and it gives you an opportunity to purchase this deck here on back order. This deck is now currently sold out. You can't purchase it anymore unless you buy it on back order, and if you do, the deck will take about 6 to 7 weeks to arrive. I don't know if you can still purchase on back order, but my understanding is that you could. So let's get right into the review. So here's the front of the box. The box includes a very geometric design that is very simplistic, and it makes the box very elegant, and I appreciate that in the deck. So here is the side of the deck, Virtuoso. The back with the iconic Virtuoso V here at the top. And the side with, again, the V. And the bottom, which gives you information about the deck and tells you where it was made and the address and the name of the deck. So, again, when I first opened the cards, I really thought about the box. I think the box really is a good demonstration of what the actual deck will look like, and that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So when you first open the deck, you will be greeted by 4 ad cards, and the deck contains no jokers, and the ad cards take place from that. So if we set these guys to the side, we will see the ad cards. Now the ad cards give you some information about the deck, experience the best of your Virtuoso deck, some information around the visual nature of the deck, and some more information about how the deck came to be. And what I think is really cool about the inclusion of these ad cards is that if you actually turn the cards over, they will form the back design of the deck. Which is something that I think is very, very elegant in the way they did that. And I'll give you an example of the back design as reference. And then another example on how the box really does give a really good example of how the back design will look like. So those are the ad cards, and you can actually organize them in another way, and they will form another design, which is pretty cool. So if we set these guys aside and get into the deck itself. So the deck itself has very thin borders, which is really nice because it makes your fans look absolutely fantastic. So it'll be red one way you fan it, and if you're a lefty, and I'm not very good at doing this, but it'll be blue for the other way. And this is actually a term that the Verts called adaptive aesthetics. So it'll change the way your flourishes look, and that was one of the main points about their deck. So the back design, as I said, matches everything about the deck, really. I really like it, and so let's go ahead and get into the cards. So this is the Ace of Spades. The Ace of Spades is a good example of the back design also. Everything kind of syncs together. Everything resembles the whole idea of the Virtuoso, the deck. So this Ace of Spades is absolutely beautiful. It has the simple geometric pattern that was included in the box, and it's great. So there's the ace of spades. So now we will look at the jacks. So the jacks are clothed differently. One thing to note is that the deck is completely custom. There's nothing standard about this deck, and that's something that I really like. So there are the jacks. If we can get a closer look at those. So I'll give it to you one by one. So this is the Jack of Diamonds. The jacks look very cartoony, which is something that really pops for me in the deck. I really like that just because it's not the conventional, jack. Okay, the Jack of Clubs. The Jack of Spades. And the Jack of Hearts. Notice how instead of the traditional red and black, they actually have red and blue, and that is consistent for all the cards in the deck. Okay, let's look at the queens. The queens are also custom. All the core cards are custom, but they have different clothes. I wouldn't say the clothes would match their suit counterparts, but they are definitely a close comparison. So, the Queen of Diamonds, the Queen of Clubs, the Queen of Hearts, and the Queen of Spades. Now for the kings. Now, one thing I noticed immediately when I looked at the kings is the Suicide King is actually no longer a Suicide King, which is kind of cool. So that was the King of Hearts. Now for the King of Clubs. King of Diamonds, and the King of Spades. That's for the kings. Now time for the aces. So these are the three aces. I had already showed you the ace of spades. The aces are not that much different. I think I would have liked it if the pips were a bit larger on the aces. I think that would have been something that would have been cool. But those are the aces. Now, as far as handling goes on the deck, this is something that the Verge definitely took into mind when they made this deck. This deck is absolutely fantastic. It handles beautifully, and the thin stock really does help. One thing that I noticed is that because the stock is so thin, you really don't need to use a lot of force in your flourishes, if you know what I mean. So, as compared to the traditional bicycle deck, if I were to do a dribble with this deck, I don't need to use nearly as much pressure as I did with a traditional bicycle deck, which is something that's really cool. Okay, so going back to what I said about the thinness of the stock, yeah, I do think that the thin stock is great for card flourishing. It really helps with, pretty much any flourish. The only problem is that I have is that, I mean, the Verts did say that the deck is made to handle the high demand of the art of card flourishing, but a thin stock is a thin stock. It's gonna bend. So I encourage you, when you handle this deck, to not practice springs or any bend extensive flourishes with the deck unless you're really good at them, you mastered them. I used another deck to practice my springs and my dribbles just because I just didn't want to bend these decks at all because they were too valuable for me. So yeah, so that's the Spring Summer 2015 deck. You can still get it, I believe, and that's something that a lot of people have been doing. I had a friend who bought the deck, and he was so thrilled with it that he decided to actually purchase 3 more, which was insane. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the review. That's really all I have to say. One last thing about the pips. The pips are geometrically designed, so they will form different angles. So that's present in the 8, 3, 4, 8, 10, 2. Really, all the cards have a geometry design. So I hope you've enjoyed this in-depth review. Definitely check out the Virtus page. They have a lot of great stuff on there, a lot of great tutorials, and I'll see you guys later.